Hey everyone, and welcome to our channel, the best place for all things sewing. My name is Jody, and today I'm going to be chatting with you about getting started with the basics of projector sewing. Please take a minute to hit that subscribe button and let's dive in. If you haven't yet heard about this concept, there's some new technology that's creating quite the buzz in the sewing community, and it pertains to a new way to use PDF patterns. Personally, I would sometimes dread the process of having to print out and tape together dozens of pages of a PDF pattern. Then I heard about the method of using a projector for sewing, and I knew I had to learn more. So what this concept entails is having a projector mounted above your cutting surface, and an image of your pattern is projected right down onto your fabric. That way, you could just go ahead and cut out the projected lines without ever having to assemble any paper pattern pieces. As soon as I saw the benefits of this, I knew I had to incorporate it into my own space. At the time of this video, I have been using my projector for about 8 months, and in that time, I have sewn dozens of garments. I've even tested a couple patterns, and I haven't printed out a single pattern. The paper and ink savings that I've had alone, not to mention the time savings, was well worth the initial investment that I made to get a projector into my sewing room. There are literally thousands of different types of projectors on the market, and they can range in cost from $100 to close to $1,000. Knowing which projector you should get based on your needs, your space requirement, and your budget is probably one of the most challenging parts of this whole process. There are a lot of different factors to take into consideration when exploring projectors, so make sure to do your research and compare several options. When shopping for projectors and reading their descriptions, you will run across words like throw, lumens, native resolution, Wi-Fi capable, keystone, all sorts of other really technical sounding terms. I will break down a few of these key terms so that you can better understand what you need to fit your space. One of the first words that you might come across is throw. You will need to know the throw distance of your space. This would be the distance from your projector lens to your cutting surface. You can measure from ceiling to table to get a general idea of your throw distance, but keep in mind that when your projector is mounted on your ceiling, you will lose about 6 to 12 inches, since when the projector is mounted, it will be pointing down, and the actual throw measurement will be from your projector lens to your table. You will also want to measure the surface of your cutting area so that you know how much space you have to fill with your projected image. The ratio of your throw distance to your projected area is called the throw ratio. And this is one of the key numbers that you will need to know when figuring out which projector to get for your space. Sometimes, if your ceilings in your sewing space are too low, you can even get a projector called an ultra short throw projector, which would sit on your table and still project a large image onto your cutting surface. Lumens is another word you'll see when researching projectors. This relates to the brightness of the projector, sort of like how standard light bulbs have different degrees of brightness. You will want to take into consideration how much light there is in your room and how easily it can be darkened if necessary when thinking about the lumens you will want in a projector. A brighter image means an easier time seeing the lines. As you can see on my image, I have the lights on in my room, but I'm still able to see all of the lines of my pattern that I can easily cut out. If you're getting value from this video, hit that like and subscribe button and join the family. Another important word that you'll run across is native resolution. This essentially relates to the clarity of the image being projected. The higher the native resolution, the crisper the lines will be and the easier it will be to see your image on your cutting surface. You will also see some terms about how you will connect your projector to your computer or tablet. Some projectors are Wi-Fi compatible and can be connected wirelessly to your computer or tablet. Others don't have that capability built into them, but you are able to connect something like a Chromecast dongle, an Apple TV, or a Fire Stick in order to connect wirelessly to your computer or tablet. Some will not have wireless capabilities at all and will need to be hardwired to your computer or tablet using an HDMI cord. As you can see, the variations here are numerous and everyone's situation is going to be different. For example, I had purposefully chosen a projector that had wireless capabilities because I wanted to minimize the number of cords in my space. Unfortunately, during my setup process, I realized that my computer was too outdated and I wasn't able to connect wirelessly. I was able to work out a situation using an Apple TV device plugged into my projector that I can then cast to my computer. However, I still have some cords that I'd like to get rid of someday. So even though I cannot connect wirelessly currently, if I upgrade my computer, I will be able to use that wireless function of my projector. This brings up another point of what you're going to be connecting your projector to in order to view your patterns. You can use either a computer or a laptop, or some sort of tablet or phone if necessary. A computer or a laptop that's able to run Adobe is the preferred method because it makes figuring out your zoom percentage and being able to manipulate your patterns a lot easier. Using a phone or a tablet is a possibility, but you'll need to download some other sort of PDF viewer app on your phone or tablet in order to do this. Next, I should probably mention there are a lot of different ways that you can mount your projector above your cutting surface. I currently have my projector on a temporary stand. I'm using a photography backdrop stand and a GoPro mount that my projector is connected to. I initially started with a temporary setup because I wanted to make sure that this was something that I knew I would definitely utilize before having it professionally mounted and the wires hidden. Spoiler alert, I am never going back to printing pattern pieces, and now I just need to find the time to have somebody come out and mount it for me. There are a lot of other temporary options that people have come up with as well, including building a stand, using a camera boom, or a clamp of some sort. Also, many people just go ahead and mount them directly to their ceiling using a secure projector mount. Finally, the last topic I want to mention in regards to projector sewing basics is the concept of setting up and calibrating your projector. This concept is actually pretty complicated, so I'm just going to break it down in the most basic terms possible and tell you that calibration means making sure that your image that is being projected is completely level and to scale. Obviously, it's important to make sure that your image is to scale because you also want to make sure that the garments you sew from your projected pattern pieces are also to scale. So now that I've thrown a whole bunch of technical and confusing sounding terms at you and given you a lot of factors to consider for your own sewing space, I hope I've at least inspired you to think about how a projector may assist you in your sewing journey. I know many of us are really busy with limited sewing time, so being able to use that sewing time more efficiently is really important. I usually sew after my kids go to bed, so being able to come downstairs, flip on my projector, and immediately get sewing is priceless. Previously, I would have had to spend a whole evening printing and assembling a pattern, and I wouldn't even be able to get started on cutting and sewing until the next evening. If you think using a projector would be beneficial in your sewing journey, I encourage you to spend the necessary time comparing different models and finding the right one for your space. There are many resources available to help you navigate the projector sewing process. There's a private Facebook group called Projectors for Sewing that I have found to be incredibly useful with navigating this process. It's a group that can help with troubleshooting, get recommendations for different projectors, and just share tips and ideas. It's linked down below in case you also want to join. While I may have just gone over some of the basics of using your projector for sewing, I really haven't shown you what this looks like in action. Stay tuned for another video from me soon where I'll go over the how-tos of projector sewing. I'll show you how to use it for cutting and also show you how to do simple adjustments like size grading, lengthening, and shortening. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.